Coming out of a 3-day trial, you'd think both parents would be present, right? Except he didn't even show up. After 3.5 years of refusing to follow court orders, filing motion after motion, and dragging this process out, when it was finally his time to defend himself, he pled the fifth: silence. That silence told me everything I needed to know. This was never about the truth. It was never about what's best for our kids. It was always about control, and the trial stripped him of that control. Prior to this trial, he refused to follow the temporary court orders that were in place, and his excuse that the orders were fraudulent and that our judge had been removed from the case. Which one is it, buddy? This is typical of post separation abuse, creating chaos, contradictions, and confusion so no one can rely on anything they say. It's exhausting, confusing for the kids. So I want to share with you on the screen a few of real life text messages of him trying to claim that our orders are fraudulent. The judge issued Montenegro orders regarding custody. You now have every other weekend from Friday at 8 a.m. until Sunday 6 p.m. Wednesdays have been removed. Since you chose not to attend trial, you'll be receiving the full minute orders at some point, which will outline everything that was ordered by the judge. I'm sharing this now only to avoid any confusion for the children. I'll be following the new order moving forward. And he responded, noted, however, I have received no communications or minute orders from the court since February 25th, 2025, when I invoked my Fifth Amendment rights and informed the court that I would be filing a complaint with the higher courts. If the court has issued any new orders or held additional hearings without proper jurisdiction, they would need to be formally documented and served through the clerk in the court manner. Until then, I will continue to follow the last official orders on record. He canceled the boys' health insurance on June 1st, and I didn't find out until early August. This insurance was the only financial responsibility he was following. Child support, school expenses, forget it. He refused to contribute, claiming hardship in court, all while traveling the world, living lavishly, and giving up his already reduced parenting responsibilities. I reached out to him to request a child support payment, letting him know that the boys were starting school next week and I needed to purchase supplies and ensure they're prepared. I let him know I reminded him that he has not paid child support since December, despite my request in July. Can you please send a child support payment today so I can finalize their school preparations? So he viewed it on the same day and just chose not to respond until 4 days later, with actually, I just paid $30,000 in property taxes so the kids can continue at blank and $2,000 for their health care this month alone. Meanwhile, I have yet to hear anything back from DCSS since I filed for them to correct their miscalculations back in November, audit their finances, and return the money they've been illegally garnishing. Until that happens, any further attempts to enforce the fabricated orders only confirm the collusion at play. And my response was, so just to recap, you canceled the boys' health insurance on June 1st, then tried to backpedal when the therapist caught it. Now, instead of actually helping with school supplies or child support, you're bragging about property taxes like that somehow feeds or insures the kids. Noted and documented. And we do have a child support hearing coming up, and I let him know that he'll have another chance to give the commissioner more word salad with 0 receipts at the end of this month, unless, of course, you're planning on not showing up to that too. So again, he's referring back to the fraudulent orders. So he says, lastly, you've recently claimed Montenegro orders were issued verbally and are somehow enforceable unless written minute orders exist of the court's findings, and until DCSS and the court actually correct the unlawful custody, visitation, and support rulings, you remain responsible for these expenses. You yourself said you'd comply with these orders effective immediately. Which is it? Again, just a bunch of legal jargon, word salad, like none of it makes any sense. He's constantly manipulating the children. He bribes them with material things, lies to them, and uses them as messengers. For example, just this week, he promised them certain time together, but didn't follow through and left them confused and upset. He will promise them things that are not on his parenting time to make me seem like I'm keeping them away from their father. And yet he acts like he's the loving parent. It's a deliberate manipulation for him. The game is more important than the kids. So my ex will constantly make broken promises to the boys. He says he's going to be somewhere, says he's going to do something, doesn't show up, doesn't acknowledge it, which is extremely disappointing for children. But he'll also try to turn me and the bad guy into the bad guy by saying, I won't allow the kids to go to their dad's house instead of being an adult and following the court order because that's what you also agreed to. He's trying to turn everything and twist it on me. And so they were extremely disappointed this week and we had a lot of issues. And I messaged him and I let him know that his statements to the boys about not going to blank and telling them they can come to you anytime are creating confusion and making things harder on them. Please stop making promises you don't follow through on and putting words in my mouth. It's unfair and manipulative. The court order needs to be followed. Letting him know, have the boys ready for pickup on Sunday at 6 p.m. So he says he's happy to follow the orders as always, once actual written and lawful ones exist. The boys aren't confused. They know they're loved and welcome at their home anytime. What is confusing is your insistence on trying to enforce supposed verbal Montenegro orders that don't exist on paper. Maybe you should ask the court why it still hasn't issued them. Until then, stop misleading the boys with suspect rulings you can't produce. It's been 3 weeks since trial. I've received the minute orders. I know he has too, but this is just one of his games that he plays. He's notorious for saying he didn't get it. This behavior takes a toll. Emotionally, the kids are stressed, anxious, and unsure of what's real. For me, it's exhausting and heartbreaking to watch, yet abusers thrive on this chaos. It's their control mechanism, their fuel, and when the law tries to intervene, he still tries to twist it to suit himself. Filing motions, refusing to provide documents, claiming he's unemployed, even though he travels and maintains a lavish lifestyle. This is what post-separation abuse looks like in real life. I share this not to shame anyone, but to show the reality for those who may be going through similar situations. If you're watching this and dealing with a high conflict ex, I want you to know it's about control and punishing you. Protect your children, document everything, and stay grounded. The more you understand the tactics, the less power they have over your life. And always remember, the kids need stability and love, and that starts with you. Thanks for watching, and if any of this resonated with you, please consider subscribing. Until next time, bye.